Okay, so the first question is, what are some objects in your home that you like?
I have inherited a lot of things from my grandmother and a woman which took over her farm. So there's a lot of things I like, but especially old object we found in the barn, which is it was a proper English word for it. We have wine bottles and it's a old shelf, probably several hundred years old, with colored paintings on it. And I would guess it's from the 1800s, maybe. That's one of our favorites, so we put it in the kitchen.
Well, at least the coffee machine, of course, because I like coffee a lot. And my bed, of course, and just my desk, my working desk, because that's where I do my important work, right? So I guess those, and my toothbrush.
Some objects?
Yes.
Well, I do love my TV.
Nice.
And books. If I didn't have, I've actually gone quite long without any TV. And that's also fine. But it's easy entertainment. And but if I don't have a TV, I love to read books. So I'll read books.
The favorite objects in my home are the simplest objects. They're the objects that have a use to me. So maybe objects in the kitchen, for example, a pan, because it's simple, but you can use it everywhere, you know what I mean? Or a simple object could be just the blankets. I love the minimalistic approach in my house, and I don't feel like we need to have these crazy looking fashionable objects. But if you like that, of course I understand. But for me, the most important thing of an object is that it's useful, that you can use it for a long time, and that it's used for a good purpose, let's say.
Maybe my dining table, because it makes people surround there and be there, eat together, and good conversations.
One object is a piece of lead. It's this big and this thick, so it's quite heavy, that my grandfather used to use in his model ship making hobby. And he was very neat and tidy man. Otherwise you cannot build these model ships, because the ships are like this big. But this object is interesting for me because it was used to hammer things on, but circular things. I don't know exactly what, but it ended up being a piece of lead, which is this gray bluish color, and then it has a lot of rings in it that was hammered in for hammering some circular object. So it looks like almost like a lake with raindrops on it, and it's lead. And he never intended it to look that way, although he had this object. He made this object over years and years of building model ships, and it ended up being this object where he spent a lot of effort in trying to make something else very neat. He created this kind of almost organically shaped object, which I thought was really nice. So that's one object. And then the second object, which actually I put on top of that, is a golden Buddha statue that I received in the mail after doing a workshop. One day, pretty intense workshop with a coach here in the Netherlands. But I received this after having a spiritual experience in Hong Kong that was related to Buddhism. And I come back during a very tumultuous time in my life, and I've had this spiritual experience there. I come back in my home, and then in the mail is in this bubble envelope a golden Buddha statue that I received a month ago, but I just didn't know that was part of that experience. So yeah, that's
Nice.
I added the two together. That's one of the spiritual experience was also a dream I had about Guan Yin, which is one of the Bodhisattva, sitting on a lotus petal on a lake. And it was a golden lake, but of course this is now a lead lake, which is, now that I think about it, also the alchemy of turning lead into gold. So those two I very like.
The next question is, what kind of activities do you like to do in your home?
Play board games, hence the nice big table. But every day I also do some sort of movement meditation practice, which has some yoga or qigong or just stretching exercises. It's a time for me to come to myself after a day, spend some energy on feeling good in my body, in my mind. And I use my yoga mat for it. And I am doing so for over 1,000 days now. So I keep a day tracker, and every day I'm with that yoga mat. So it's another special object for me. But that's something I like doing.
So maybe my favorite activity that I could do in my home is to just, when I finish working, of course working deeply, but when I finish working, is to just sit on my couch and make a fire, enjoy the present moment, just like you said that you enjoy doing that, and maybe meditate a little bit. Just try to relax and think about what's happening now, rather than thinking about your regrets or the future, right? And reflecting on the moment now is for me the most important, because living in a moment now is the only moment you'll get. What I think of it is, imagine that you're in the present moment now. I think those moments are the moments that you remember the most. The moments that you got married, the moments that you met a good friend, the moments that you know, I think it makes...
Yes.
I think you understand what I mean.
I have some old hobbies, and some of them I'm actually working on right now. It's sewing sheep hides together into objects and things you can use. You can mostly use it in the winter. You can sit outside in the sun in really warm skin hides. So you put it on the chair. So I have here, this is 2 sheep hides that I've sewed together. This is an old Norwegian, maybe Scandinavian, maybe other countries did this several hundred years ago as well. But I sewed it together and printed some patterns on them. And here we made one for the farm with our initials and the farm's name. Since we use it a lot, it gets a bit dirty, but it can be washed. So that's for them though. And it's a nice hobby. You only know how to sew, and it's not very intricate. Here we have another one. This is also 2 sheep pelts or hides. And I made a pattern on the back here as well. So you can also have it like this and sit on it. And on this one, this is my project now. This is an old sleeping bag for babies, which I laid in when I was a baby myself. But the skin hide was broken. So now I'm making a new one and sewing it on. So it's gonna be nice and warm for my own baby in the winter.
Well, I like to get creative, so I love to paint and draw and make what's it called, dream catchers.
Well, when I'm first at home, I think it's nice to do that hard work that you need to do. And when I'm out of my home, I think it's better to relax more and have a good time, instead of doing that at home and being like at home doing all those things you can do when you are having a good time, right? Or relax. Like, I don't want to relax too much at home, because that is where I think I can do the most important work.
Just I have this actually sauna. I don't know if you heard about it.
No, I haven't. What is it?
It's like we call it like it helps your body to circulate. So you sweat a lot, but it makes you really
Like
relax.
a sauna?
Yeah, to be honest, but it goes so much more through your bones and muscles, so it actually helps you sleep better and relax better. So